Welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today is singer-songwriter, pop star, Ruthie Craft. Ruthie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. So you're kind of the first, you definitely delve more into the pop world than most of our guests so far. But before we get there, let's tell us a little bit about who is Ruthie Craft.
Wow, what a loaded question. Let me just give you my life story real quick. I'm just kidding. I'm a pop singer. I am I write my music based on personal experiences that I've gone through, some of them pretty difficult, and kind of channel that into music. And I'm from a small town in Washington State, moved out here to Austin, Texas, about 3 years ago to chase my dreams. And then about a year and a half ago, I quit my job and, you know, went full throttle on the dream chasing. And it's been quite a ride since then. And I'm having a great time doing it. Lots of ups and downs and hurdles. But yeah, it's been really good. Definitely has built my character a lot. And I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds because I kind of feel like I'm just getting started.
Well, you are just getting started. That's a big change. Small town
Yeah.
Washington. I've spent some time in the Pacific Northwest to Austin, Texas, which is at this point in time the melting pot of all melting pots.
Hmm.
I don't know if there's a more hotbed for art, especially comedy. Obviously, Joe Rogan opening
Yep.
the mothership there, and Kill Tony, the live podcast, kind of just bringing in artists that are doing the same thing you're doing, chasing a dream. I'm a big fan of both of the podcast and a lot of the things that those guys do. And no doubt they've influenced us to build this podcast. And I go, well, hey, if they can talk to all their friends, then we can too, right? I think we have stories to tell. Ruthie,
Oh yeah.
I think you have a pretty unique story to tell, and you are, in fact, just getting started. Um, where to go? Where to go? So you have some ties up into our area in the Midwest here. So you come from
Yes.
Washington, your parents from the Washington area as well?
Yeah, we are. And then during the pandemic, one of my sisters, I have four siblings, and one of my sisters decided that Seattle was not their home anymore after everything that kind of went down. And her and her family moved up to Rapid City, South Dakota. And shortly after that, it was, my parents were like, well, we have to be by the grandbabies. So they moved up there. And then my oldest sister was like, well, our kids need their cousins and their grandparents. So they moved up there. And my brother in law's entire family moved up there. It was just like this mass exodus out of Washington State up to South Dakota. And it sounds like they're living their best life and really enjoying it. They're really, really leaning into the Midwest lifestyle and have made a lot of great friends. And I love going up there. I love visiting them. I really like that this is home base now. I go there for the holidays and all that. And so every time I'm up there, I love to play shows whenever I can. And yeah, it's really cool. I never thought that I would have had any connection to like South Dakota. I never knew anybody from South Dakota, and it's kind of home 2.0 now.
That's really cool. Well, and you kind of have the same relationship that I have with the Black Hills now. I live on the other side of the state, and even, I mean, I say Sioux Falls, but I'm 90 minutes outside of Sioux Falls.
Hmm.
So my relationship with the Black Hills is kind of, well, yeah, that's where I'm from. That's my hometown. And by proxy of your entire family being there now, whether you guys are from there or not, that's where home is. So how
Yep.
neat. So did everyone go and just kind of leave you in Washington, or had you already moved at that point?
Well, when they were making their decision to leave, I was like, I think this is a sign, and I've been wanting to get out of Washington for
Yeah,
a
y'all ain't
while.
leaving me here alone.
Yeah, and I was really like Washington is beautiful and wonderful in a lot of ways, but the clouds, the crummy weather really affected me, and I just wanted to be healthy and happy. And I had been to Austin once like 3 years prior, and I just thought it was the most magical place on earth. It was like Disneyland for me. There was music in every bar and everybody was just so cool and nice. And I was like, I don't know, maybe I think I'm going to go to Texas. And so just around this the time that my parents and my other sister moved up to South Dakota, I was on my way to Texas. So we kind of just parted ways, said goodbye, and yeah, it was hard, but we're both like my whole family is so much happier now. Just kind of we all followed our gut and followed our bliss, I guess you could say. Um, yeah,
That's so awesome. I just I love that it was kind of the mass exodus, and you know it was
yeah,
just like it's time to go. We've talked to several people that the pandemic has kind of set them on a path into being a full time musician or being in going that direction. Right? They either found their passion for music for the first time or found it again. And it's kind of been a theme of the podcast, if I'm being perfectly honest, especially having
hmm,
covered so much ground. We just left the Midwest Country Music Organization award show in Okoboji, Iowa last weekend. And what we are is just a collection of independent artists and venues and radio stations and podcasts. And it's just a loose group, right? It's a small number to get in, but then once you're in, you have connection with so many amazing people. And then once a year, we all get together. And this was our first year. I'm a pretty recent member, Ruthie, and I had the time of my life. I brought the microphones and interviewed 25 people in one evening, right? Just doing little get to know yous. So, yeah, what you're feeling and what kind of happened to you is a very similar career and life story arc that so many people are on. I have been to
yeah,
Austin before, but we kind of breezed through there and spent more time in the San Antonio area. But
hmm,
yeah, just like we're saying, it's just the energy there has to be so high right now. And you landed there at the perfect time. And it seems like things are really just starting to take off for you. So you just released a new single called Just Believe. Can you tell us a little bit
yep,
about it?
yeah. So going back to me writing about personal experiences and whatnot, that's one of those situations. I actually wrote it not necessarily about something that happened directly to me, but something that happened to a really good friend of mine and a few other girls that I knew, where um, there was an incident at our church, the church that I'd grown up going to. It stood for 30 years, and it was my home. And we had somebody in leadership who was very charismatic and likable, and just kind of came in and just stole everybody's hearts. And long story short, he ended up being a bit of a snake and abused a lot of the women in the church. And it went unnoticed and untalked about for too long. Um, and then when it finally came to light, the church sort of started to crumble and our community fell apart. And it was really, really a hard situation. I saw my friend go through it, and it was really, really hard on her. And I felt helpless. Like I couldn't do anything about it directly. And but I saw these girls just spiral. And after what had happened to them, I was just so furious. So I just sat down one day with my guitar, and I didn't even sit down to write a song about this. I just played some chords, and this is what poured out of me. And um, yeah, and the way that this song has developed, and um, the way it was produced and everything has it really it really snowballed and grew and became something bigger than what I ever thought it would be. Just the sound of it is very, um, very big and fierce and dramatic, and I think it fits the tone of how I was feeling um, when I wrote it. And yeah, so I'm just glad that this story is getting out there. Unfortunately, I know that there's a lot of other people who can relate to a similar situation, and some people who never really get justice. And yeah, I'm just I want this song to be out there to know that those girls and other people who have been sexually abused, they're not alone. And um, you know, the big overarching theme of this song is that even though he came in and seemingly from the outside ruined everything, at the end of it all, we kept our faith and we didn't let him destroy that for us. Like we came out holding each other and supporting each other and still finding our own connection to God without him. And I really think that's an important note to make as well, is that even though it was a really difficult situation, he didn't get away with it. He didn't ruin our lives forever. So that's what that song's about.
Do you have contact with any of the girls still?
I do, yeah. That the girl that I wrote the song for is still one of my closest friends.
So she's heard the song.
Yes, and she loves it.
That's
Yeah,
fantastic. I'm glad that it
yeah,
can be an anthem for them.
yeah. Yeah, me too.
That's heavy stuff.
Yeah, it is. It is heavy stuff, but to me, like that is music for me. That's my
Yeah.
relationship to music, is like the heavy stuff, the feelings that are too big to hold inside your body can be released in musical form, and hopefully not just help yourself as a songwriter, but also help other people. It's really important to me.
Yeah. You got the heart of a songwriter for sure. That's exactly what they are. I tell people all the time that I don't write these songs. I mean, I'm merely able to connect as an antenna to be able to
Right.
transform feelings that I've had and feelings that have wrung me to my core. That I'm sure someone else has felt that way, right? Somebody else has been in that situation, and then just kind of letting it flow. And
Yeah, I mean, that's what songwriting, that's what music did for me in the first place. That's why I fell in love with songwriting and singing, is because Adele for me was that person. Like I could listen to her songs and feel like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone. Like these feelings are real and difficult and valid. And she's singing about them and just pouring her heart on the floor. And just as a teenager listening to her sing, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so restorative and therapeutic for me. And I just hoped that one day I could write a song that could be that for somebody else.
I think you already have. I think just they just haven't found it yet, right? And
Right.
such is the life of music. The monumental task is not the songwriting, and that isn't writing the song. It's finding the person that the song connects with, finding all of
Yeah.
those people, out of 8 billion people on the planet. And thank goodness for things, like Spotify and the Instagram and all those things. I know we talk a lot of trash on them, and we have to kind of bend at their whims sometimes, but we still have to realize what an advantage and a great tool that it is to get that out there now. You don't know when that song is going to hit, and
Oh, yeah.
obviously Just Believe it is going to be that song, and already is that song for some young ladies out there already.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for that. Thank you, Ruthie. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. No, that's what the podcast is for getting these things out there, right? Now we're going to put this out there in the world, and we have both of them paired together now, right?
Right.
And the scene and everything that we're trying to do here is trying to marry that up. We can't wait to have you up here in South Dakota so you can sit down at some of our songwriter nights and to tell these stories to our people here, and they hit so much harder in person. And having seen you live, I know that you bring all of that raw emotion to the stage with you as well. I didn't meet you the night that I saw you perform, but
Oh, I didn't know you
definitely
were there.
became a fan. Yeah, my wife and
Where were
I,
you?
we were at the
What?
Deadwood Tobacco Company when you performed with our
Oh,
friend
yeah.
Chris Graves.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love Chris.
He was
He's
just
so
out here
good.
this weekend with our good friend Devin Sance, and our
Yes.
new
Also love
friend,
Devin.
a Midwest Country Music Organization member, new to the South Dakota area, at least playing his first time in South Dakota, our friend Samuel John. Right, so we're already cross-pollinating, right? We had people from
Yeah.
Minneapolis come down here to play in Mitchell and met our friends from Rapid City, right? So I'm trying to just get all this, and the more we're friends and we start talking to each other, the more that we cross-pollinate, and why I was so adamant that, like, oh, Ruthie's in Austin? Yeah, we got to get connected with her, right? And it might not be this year, right? That's a big jump. I'm trying to work in 5 to 8 hour stretches right now to try and where are the
Mhm.
jumps, right? We can get to the hills, we can get to the cities, we can get to Kansas City. Okay, let's strengthen some relationships within that range, right? And find some really good gigs and build some nice fan bases so that then next year we can go, okay, well, where's another 5 to 8 hours from there?
Yep.
Oklahoma City and starting to branch out into those major metro areas. And maybe it takes you 2 or 3 years to branch out to there. It doesn't matter. Like these are our careers. It growing
Right.
as we go. We said it on another podcast that we're not like, we don't do music for a living. We're living musicians.
Mm,
Like
I love that.
it's just what we do, right? I think I'm going to hashtag that.
Right.
I also hashtag Midwestern AF because a lot of people are coming to embrace that it's the small town life is really what it comes down to. And that's what it kind of means, right? Is that you're there for other people. You're not a D head, you're not, it's not, it's really a state of mind that people are buying into. And I think that's why country music is by far the most popular genre of music in the country today. You still have your hotbeds of pop music and things going on, but you don't go anywhere and don't hear country music. It doesn't matter what metro area that you're in these days. So, I think we got a good thing going. I think you got a good thing going. You got some great music videos out. I highly encourage anyone to definitely go straight to your YouTube page and check that stuff out. Definitely check out your Spotify. You got some great songs on there. I listen to Sirens and Cicadas, which is going to be featured on an upcoming episode of Love Noise, which is our review show. So thanks for sending that one in.
Yeah.
And you got some new music coming out here soon. It says you got an EP coming out June 14th.
Yeah. Finally getting a body of work out. I've gotten
Sound of
several
Blue.
singles out. Yeah. EP. It'll be my debut EP, and it's called Sound of Blue. Yeah.
What's the difference? Because I have a lot of songs, right? And I've been working on just getting the singles out. So yeah, now I'm the host becomes the teacher or the student and or some euphemism I'm going for here. What's the difference between kind of preparing to record just one song to we're going in and recording a body of work, not just well, let's pick this song and this song and this song and
Yeah.
slap those together. Did you attack it in more of that? Like this is a work together, a cohesive work.
Well, I kind of did both. So I've released three singles from the EP, 19, Just Believe, and Deja Vu. Those are all going to be on the EP. And then it's going to be a 5-song EP, and I'm dropping the last two at once. Is the plan, unless I change my mind again, but I'm pretty sure that's the plan. Um, and I don't really know, honestly. I just felt like I'd released several singles, and it just felt like a time it felt like it was time to release a body of work. It was a collection of songs that I wrote kind of in the same time, and um, they're kind of all written from a place when I was not doing well, when I was either dealing with my own trauma, grieving over a friend's trauma, or just grieving over the world in general and a lot of the sadness
Do you
that I
feel
see and the
do you feel
Mhm.
like it's important to release it as a package to kind of like just leave that? Is there some subconscious where you're just like, I just want to like box all of that up and that was a time in my life and maybe you're moving on from that, like your life is changing a little bit and you're moving past that and you're able to kind of, box all of that up and go, well, here was this moment in Ruthie's life, right? Here it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
Closure.
It's closure. Yeah, it's like, okay, these are the songs that were written when I was feeling this way. Here are those songs packaged in a nice little bow. And then after that, yeah, I'm going to release songs that were written from a different time with different feelings and different experiences. I'm not really sure. I don't know. There's no like rules to this whole music thing, right?
No,
Everybody and
especially when
their
you're
mom
independent.
has an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're your own
Everybody has an
boss.
opinion. And at the end of the day, it's like I'm going to try to take advice from people who seem like they know what they're talking about, But really, at the end of the day, I'm going to follow my gut and do what makes sense to me for my music. And for me, it just felt like it was time to drop a body of work. Um, and then, yeah, I'm ready to release singles and stuff, and hopefully a full length album soon and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody's got a different way of doing things. There's no rules.
No, I love it. I am a fierce independent a musician, band leader, podcaster. I just like, I'll do my own thing. We have our LLC. We're good. Well, we keep our stuff above board. We got no problem paying taxes. We're good. But we also do business that way with our, when we go to our shows too. And I know you're, as an independent musician, you're booking your own shows. You're the band leader. Can you speak a little bit about just being a younger, a little diminutive, right? It's not like you're a very large girl either, to go in and have to be the boss in a male dominated society and culture and especially the industry.
Oh. Well, I would say if I were giving advice to anybody in that position, a young girl trying to make it in music, or really just if I could go back in time and tell myself this, I would say leave your ego at the door, leave your preconceived notions about what men think of you at the door. It's not going to serve you, because if you're constantly looking over your shoulder waiting for the next guy to take advantage of you, um it's going to prevent you from progressing. And that's not to say you should always be careful and mindful and aware of things, because people are people and some people will try to take advantage of you. So definitely like have your head on straight. But the thing that has helped me the most is I guess just trying to build my own confidence. I know that's easier said than done, but really just loving myself, respecting myself first, because nobody's going to respect you if you don't respect yourself. So if you walk into band rehearsal knowing that you're talented, knowing that your songs are good, and knowing that you're capable, even if you don't truly believe it yet, but you kind of fake it till you make it for a little while, then that is how people will respond to you. Your bandmates, whoever you're working with, your producers, if they see a self-respecting woman walk into the room, then they're most likely, any good person with their head on straight is going to respect you. So it's challenging. I still find it a challenge sometimes, but I kind of had to leave that whole I'm a female in charge of a bunch of males thing at the door, because it doesn't really serve me. Like if everybody's just people, everybody's just musicians, then to me that's the most important. Like, are you a good person? Are you a respectful person? Do you listen well? Then cool, I want to work with you. It doesn't matter to me that I'm a female and I'm working with a lot of males, you know?
Right. And I think that music, above all spaces, is that, because we all look at each other as just artists, right? You're looking at other songwriters and other things. It very rarely is it, even though we tend to be more physically attractive people. That's just the way stardom works, right? Or just being a performer, right? That there's often no tension there in that way, right? You're kind of just in the room. Most people at this point, I mean, I'm in my late 30s. I'm married with children. I'm here to work. I'm here to do business. I don't have time for that. And
Yeah.
I admire you, because given what we've already talked about on the show, that you can kind of leave those feelings at the door. And I know it's not easy, and to be able to leave that, and then
Yeah.
harder still to find the confidence to walk into a room. And just sometimes older people. I've been doing this for a long time, Ruthie. I'm probably much older than you are. So I remember being 21, 22 and being the front man, right? I wrote all the songs. I'm picking out the set list. I'm doing all the work. But then I played in the band with my dad. So there was a constant subversion of me being the leader of it by just the fact that, well, yeah, but your dad's in the band. So your dad's kind of like, we'll just go talk to him instead. Right. Like, cool, whatever you say, kid,
Right.
we'll go there. So like, even if you have the advantages of even being a male, sometimes there's other challenges in the game that you have to overcome. And
Yeah.
I feel like now that I am a little bit older, I'm probably a lot wiser. I carry myself very confidently, right? I'm having a lot of different conversations. We're talking to CEOs, and we're talking to, directors of foundations and different things. And all good people that you're going to meet, Ruthie. I plan on plugging you into the scene up here. I'm a huge fan of your music. I think you're a great person. Just getting to know you over the phone here. I can't wait to meet you in person. We know you're coming out around rally time. You got some gigs in South Dakota. We're trying to get you East River for at least one. You know, everybody stay tuned for Ruthie Craft, you know, the first part of August 1st through the 8th or 9th, and you'll be headed back to Texas.
Something like that. We haven't nailed down the dates completely yet.
Yeah.
But we will be here at least by August 1st.
That's awesome. So you got a regular band you play with, or do you kind of have to hire different guys? That's awesome to have a solid
Yeah, I
group.
usually have a regular band, and sometimes I need subs or whatever, but I have a great group of guys that are stellar musicians and believe in the project, which is really important.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I can speak from experience now, playing with people that really believe in my original music and are kind of digging into it and putting themselves into it as well, right? And that really is so gratifying as a songwriter. And gosh, we could just sit here and talk songwriting and music all day and all night, I'm sure, Ruthie, and we'll have plenty of time for that as the years go by. And like you said, we're just getting started.
Yes, sir. We are.
Ruthie, anything you want to plug on the way out? You got a website?
Just keep an eye out for the EP dropping on June 14th, and it's going to be available on all streaming platforms. And yeah, my website, ruthiecraft.com. It's craft with a C. You can find all my upcoming shows. I'll post my tour dates there. All my music videos, all that good stuff.
Sign up for the email list.
Yeah, sign up for the email list. And I love it when people reach out to me on Instagram, on social media. I love to get to know people who are listening to the music. So I'm Ruthie Craft on Instagram and all social media.
Yeah. And you got some great content out there. So I really appreciate your time, Ruthie, and everybody else. Thanks for tuning in to The Scene. Thank you for listening. Remember to go to patreon.com/thescenesd. Follow us on all your social media channels and make yourself part of The Scene.